success starts with winning in the mind. You got to basically be able to envision, what success is going to be like for you, and make sure it's the right kind of success, right? So, success, from my perspective, is that which is completely aligned with your calling, your purpose, and it is your mission, and you fulfill that mission. And if there's money attached to it, great. If that's part of the outcome, but as long as you're serving and fulfilling your mission, and you're doing it, you know, gracefully, right? You're not like a thug doing that. Then that's success. But in order to do that, you have to know what your purpose is, and you have to be able to see that vision in your mind. So you have to see it. That's what winning in your mind is. And then you have to develop the capacity to believe it. Like we were talking about earlier, the emotional mind. You have to believe that you're worthy. That is your mission. That is your calling. And then you just basically wake up every day, and that vision is there for you, like, because you actually see it and you practice it. And that we call that the future me visualization, which I have in the book. And the more you practice that future vision of you fulfilling your mission in alignment with your purpose or your calling, and doing it in a way that you're thriving, and you keep practicing that future me vision, then you're creating a memory of a future state of becoming, and you're drawn to it like a magnet. So when you wake up every morning, you reinvoke that vision, that image, and you practice it. So you call that a practice visualization. And so you're adding energy to that future vision, which is going to basically create even a more of attractive pull. And if you do this enough, right, over time, like, you literally can't fail, because you've set the conditions in, let's call it the matrix, or let's call it the quantum level. You've set the conditions for that future state to happen because you've mentally won it already in your mind. The most simple example of this is when and I didn't know any of these words, but I just had a hunch when I was in my 20s, and I had been now practicing Zen now for several years. And my Zen training, I was a CPA MBA. I tell that story in my book, Unbeatable Mind. And I was working on, staying in business. But all the time I spent in the meditation bench, I kept getting intuitive signals that I was heading down the wrong path. I was living the wrong story, and that I was really meant to be a warrior, right? And so then I started asking different and better questions and reflecting and journaling. And then I was shown the Navy SEALs. And then I said, okay, that's my new path, right? I'm going to turn my back on the business stuff when I'm done with my commitments, my MBA, CPA, black belt, and I'm going to go become a Navy SEAL. Well, I didn't just hope to be a Navy SEAL, right? I upped my training in karate. I started running more. I, obviously was already a competitive swimmer. But I also started training my mind to be a Navy SEAL. And how did I do that? Well, I watched the video. The only video I could find of the Navy SEALs, this is in the mid 80s, was a recruiting video titled Be Someone Special. I watched it like 10 times. And then I inserted myself mentally into that imagery that was stored in my brain in the video. And I practiced essentially what I now call a future me visualization, where I saw